Welcome to Indian Cine-MANIACS. Hello, Maniacs. What's happening?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. Obviously, John is cosplaying this film we're going to do tonight.
Pachala. Doom Pachala.
We're going to talk about, rant about, discuss Dhoom 3. And then we have 2 films left on the wheel, and we'll spin that wheel, and we'll get rid of one of those, and we'll be down to one after next week, which is
and
good.
We got plenty more to put on.
I think it's time to move on. We got to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on.
We need
moving on.
that list.
John, I'll let you, since it's your guy and your film. Why don't you describe?
Well, it's not. He's not my guy. He's the world's guy.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with that first of all.
Okay.
Okay. So we're doing Doom 3, which came out in 2013. Now, I have seen Doom 1 and Doom 2. The group has not seen them. Now, I don't.
Drew has seen 1 and 2.
Drew has seen 1 and 2.
I watched all 3 this
Oh,
weekend.
you did? Okay, great. So, but what I was going to say was you don't need to see the first 2.
That's true.
Okay. And the Doom series is about 2 cops, Jai and Ali.
Jai dick shit.
What? Yeah, that's right, dick shit. And that's the theme of the 3 movies. And what I talked to you guys about last week was the film really isn't about those 2. It's really about whoever the thief is in the 3 movies. It's always the showier role. And the reason why this is a story about a man who ran a circus who, through circumstances, kills himself. So instead of just being a straight, like the first 2.
Well, I mean, he kills himself because the bank wouldn't pay for his circus.
Right.
So it's all about evil bankers.
Right.
They set up the whole evil banker.
Yes.
Okay.
But what I was
Wait
going
a
to
minute,
say.
evil bankers?
I know, it's a shock.
What I was going to say before Ralph went anti-capitalism, where the first 2 are really straight, there's a thief and the cops have to catch him. This one is more a revenge story, right? He's stealing because of what happened with the bankers to his dad. That's basically the story. And the reason why, so I've done 10-minute reviews on 1 and 2, and everybody the consensus is that 2 is the best of the 3. Now, I disagree with that because I think
Aamir Khan isn't in the second one.
No, I think Aamir Khan raises the level.
Oh, okay.
Than the 2 other villains. I really do. Now, also when I reviewed it, I didn't do any spoilers, and we're going to talk about spoilers in this one. And there is a gigantic spoiler, and it's the reason why I enjoyed this movie. Because let's be honest, and Drew, you're the only one who can attest to this. But the 2 cops are okay. Abhishek Bachchan, who is the son of Amitabh Bachchan, who's a huge Indian star, and Uday Chopra, who plays Ali,
who's the son of the producer. Aditya
he's related
Chopra,
to the producer.
Nepo baby?
He's
Both
the
of
weak
them, yeah.
link.
So wait, you're telling me that?
Looks.
Wait, you're telling me I have to watch the first 2 to realize that the cops in this one they're ridiculous characters. They're stupid.
Well, it's not.
I have to see the first 2 to get that in this one.
Well, there's more of them in the other movies.
Yeah,
Oh, there are?
There is more because this
That's
one
not
really.
that's not necessarily good, but
Right.
there.
This one
the
was
first
really-
2 movies feel like buddy cop movies,
I think
and the third one is definitely more, as John said, about the villain.
dummy
Yeah.
cop movies.
But also in it is Katrina Kaif, who I've never seen before, who is gorgeous and does this whole dance number. And I really enjoyed the movie for a couple of reasons. Not just Aamir Khan. Everyone knows what a stuck up I am. I admit it. But compared to all the other Indian movies that we've been watching that have been pretty intense and heady and serious, this was just like I think about a summer movie you go to and it's a popcorn movie. That's what I think about this. There's a lot of high action. There's a big budget. I love the opening number. The one other thing about this movie, they didn't do musical numbers like out of nowhere. They had one during the credits, and then there's dance numbers during the circus and when she's auditioning, and it fit with the.
Well, yeah, but the first one didn't.
No, but it was at the credits. It wasn't.
Okay.
They didn't
It
interrupt
was
the
a
story.
credit sequence.
To
So
break
you
out in
enjoy
the
the
song.
credits. Okay.
Was
And
that
by
the
the
one
way,
with the
That's what
tap
James
dancing?
Gunn does in his series.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Was
the-
that the one with the tap dancing? Was the
Yeah.
first one?
Doom Tap, it's called actually.
Oh, okay.
And it was the songs from this movie were gigantic in India. That's something that I also found out. But now, so here's the spoiler.
Well,
Aamir
can we
Khan
go
plays
spoiler
two.
this
Wait,
early?
when did this come out? 2013.
Yeah, but I didn't.
We can spoil it, can't we?
Everybody's interrupting me. I didn't spoil it when I did the original video. That's why I'm saying this now. I probably should have, but I didn't because I thought if anyone hadn't seen it, I don't want to give it away. But the big spoiler is he plays twin brothers, Sahir and Samar. And that's why, to me, this one was elevated compared to the other two. I just thought his performance was great. Now, you can certainly sit here and say it was, turn off your brain and watch the movie. The motorcycles were like Transformers. I get all that, but I still enjoyed it. I really liked his performance. And there was one scene where Jai is confronting who he thinks is Samar at the end, towards the end, and then he realizes it's the other brother, and the transformation that Khan does. I just really appreciate it.
All right, let's talk about the. I guess we're spoiled it because you said they're twins. So
it's the Prestige.
Yeah, it is.
It's
it
the
is
Prestige.
Yeah,
but it's also the movie's a complete cheat right from the beginning.
Well, yeah,
because we never see the second kid in that whole lead up with the father before the father kills himself.
Would you say the Prestige was a cheat?
No, because that person was always following him around.
Yeah, that person was on screen. You just didn't know it.
I mean, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Like Saving Private Ryan has the biggest cheat ever in history, where you think it's Tom Hanks shaking his hand at the gravesite, and it's actually Matt Damon, right? So that's a big cheat too. That William Goldman called out. Yeah. And this one, it's very inventive. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I enjoyed Aamir Khan. He was pretty good. It's inventive once they start walking around each other and all that. Every time they were throwing hats to each other or throwing apple to each other, they were really playing with the fact that they're on the stage together. And you did believe that there were two separate people. I did. Right. He was distinct enough between the two. I mean, it's like Rain Man. You know, you can do that. What's that line in Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, well, I won't say that line, but Simple Jack looms large over this film, as he does over PK and probably over the Forrest Gump remake. Yeah, the fact that there were two of them, the way they did the reveal with the camera moving around, the thing that occurred to me is in this, I guess, apartment where they both live and where Samar lives secretly, do they not have a mirror and they use each other as a mirror? They sit and like if you brush your hair, then your brother has to also like. It was very. I was very confused. Weird. It was a mirror. It was weird.
And did I miss something? There's a scene where somebody follows one of them back, and they see him go up in the box.
Yeah, that's Jai.
That's Jai the detective dressed as a stagehand. Costume was amazing. His stagehand costume was amazing. But that other
master disguise.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, the twin stuff was playful and inventive, and I thought that was interesting. That was the only one that fooled me, is when he was playing his brother to get that guy. That was a legitimate kind of reveal that I thought was
it's almost like the same actor was doing them both.
That's the one that I knew as soon as the bullet wasn't on him. I go, it's a twin. It's a twin. Now they got to reveal the whole thing and show you the backstory.
Honestly, guys.
Oh, see, I thought it was magic.
See. I'll be honest with you. The moment the kid went in the box and popped out somewhere else, I was like, it's these twins. So
you mean the kid in the beginning?
Oh, yeah, I knew it right away.
Really?
Now, granted, we have just rewatched The Prestige.
Yeah. Prestige.
So that's
fresh.
all of it. But like the moment that happened, I was like, oh, he's a twin. It's The Prestige. And then when they kind of went on a little bit farther, and then when he was like, oh, you can withstand pain, I was like, oh, he's definitely a twin. Yeah, if this is the best of the Doom movies, I definitely don't need to.
Well, in my opinion, it is. Most people say it's the second one. But.
Okay, well then maybe I'll check out the second one, because I don't know this movie, and I will give it a lot of credit. I thought it was really
Grump Bear is back
to see. I thought it was really fun to see Chicago with all these Indian stars that we've kind of gotten used to and kind of know now running around Chicago. I thought that was very fun. But this movie was really, really just silly to me. Like, it felt like it was a cross between Michael Bay, which I think everybody knows I have a lot of respect for, and also the Fast and the Furious movies, which I'm also just in awe of their nonsense.
I don't know. Are you being sarcastic or are you being?
Oh
truthful?
yeah, I'm being.
Oh, total sarcasm.
And now you see him, now you
out.
don't. That's
Being completely
magic.
sarcastic. Like even that scene in the opening where the two policemen are taking down the criminals, and they're in that little like that 3-wheeled taxi kind of machine
Driving through brick
in
walls.
India. There's a scene where they're driving down over the rooftops, and all I could think of was that really awful scene in Bad Boys 2, where they drive a Hummer through the shanty town outside of Havana. I don't know why. That's what it brought back to me. So like right from the jump, I was like, "Ooh, this is bringing back." And personally, honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I've always said Bad Boys 2 might be the worst major film I've ever seen in my life. I think that movie's terrible from the beginning to the end. But anyway, this movie was much better than Bad Boys 2, though. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fun stuff in this film. You mentioned the audition sequence where she auditions, but it was funny. Even when she's riding up on the bike and she's getting ready to audition, I could even just see it. I was like, okay, so she's going to slip out of these overalls and do this big sex.
She had way too many clothes on.
Exactly. It was like kind of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. But there were a lot of fun things about the film. Obviously, Aamir Khan doing that double, and I did love the switch where he pretends to be the meeker brother, but he's actually the more intense brother. And honestly, if we're going to go all the way and spoil, or are we going to hold off on the very end?
No, what's the point?
Go for it.
I have to admit, I did not see the very ending coming. I did not, and I was a little bit touched by that ending. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, I saw I probably figured the one guy would sacrifice himself for the other brother so he could go be happy. But I did not see the ending of kind of like the we're gonna go out together.
Thelma and Louise.
Over the edge.
We never saw them hit the
Thelma
ground, though.
And that-
Even
that
though
was
you saw
unique.
that scene when he was on the platform holding him.
Yeah, that was unique to the Doom movies too. This was the only one that did that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'll be honest with you, Sean. It didn't. It was while that all was going on. It was that part was not calling back into my head. So, but
Well, that's that amazing dam right outside Chicago.
yes,
Well, they did do a nice job in Chicago, though. There was a lot of
No,
good
it was
Chicago.
very
It was fun
exciting
to
to
see
see
them
Chicago.
in
it
places we
is fun to see
recognize.
them.
I
Really
like
was.
that.
And they only bumped into Indian people everywhere they went, too.
Well, he
like
also
at the
just
amusement
so you guys
park.
know,
and-
there was a big fight scene between Jai and Sahir, and Khan puts in his contract that he could, if he was going to fight, he can't lose in the fight.
What is
So
he,
that's why
Steven
they went
Seagal?
that
That's
route.
like
What?
Steven
I know.
Seagal stuff.
I was kind of surprised about that.
That's your
but-
guy doing that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Listen,
John, I
Say
like
hi,
your
but-
ears, by the way.
What?
I like your ears in case no one
Well, thank
notices.
you.
I'll say this: the guy was jacked in this film, no
I'm
question. Both of them, both those guys were jacked. His twin brother too is looking good too.
but it's funny too because I wouldn't say they always ran into Indians. In fact, the evil banker, the
Well, no, they
No, he didn't.
absolutely gorgeous detective,
The one who
was about to
speaks
say-
Hindi because she has some Indian
That's
friends.
right.
Exactly. I mean, I've been to Chicago a few times, and I haven't seen any police like that. So
Well, she's in a special unit.
that's obvious.
She's a special
Oh, and I have a
inspector.
special unit for her.
Oh my God,
Oh.
Sean, this is a family
We just-
show.
Exactly.
We can't monetize this episode.
We're trying to talk about Jai dick shit, Sean. Have some respect.
Yeah, Jai Dick Ship.
So, but yeah, okay. Debbie, did you watch this?
I
one? You
loved
did.
it. I love this
my
movie.
That's why she's back,
Oh
because she
my
loves
god!
this movie.
I just loved him. I just love Aamir Khan.
Oh,
He's the
you guys are
best.
too easy on this guy.
What?
You're too easy on him.
He had
Well, wait
big
till I get to
muscles.
my
He had been
review.
working
Well,
out.
then why didn't Forrest Gump work for him? I don't get it. He's so good. What happened?
He even walked that one back.
Okay, well, anyway,
His
go ahead,
version
Debbie.
of
I'm sorry.
Memento was very good, though.
Yeah. He was good in that.
So, Debbie, you really like
Debbie,
this
what
one.
else did you like about this movie?
Oh, just the tap dancing. It's so good to see those guys doing more than their regular dance moves. It was really fun to watch them tap. And
It really
It's a
pushed
great
the
number.
plot along too, didn't it?
Yeah.
That really.
That was at the
really-
credits, Ralph.
Did
It
it?
was in the beginning. It had nothing to do with the plot.
I'm
It's
just
better than
saying.
breaking out in a song that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. I didn't mind that at all. It's when they break out for no reason. It's got nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
Well,
That's entertainment.
I want to know when she was singing the song for her audition, where all the instruments were and all the background stuff going on when she was singing that song.
It's like a musical.
I'm sorry, I can't suspend my disbelief with
well,
spinning
what
ropes.
about
and all
on
that.
Pete? What about Three Idiots when they do that one song?
Well, listen, it's a musical. I get it. I'm kind of being facetious, obviously, but
You're not kind of being.
you guys are really giving this
Listen,
movie.
you even said his performance was one of the better things in the movie. So,
that's
but
not saying
that's
a
what
lot
he thinks
compared
of
to
the
what
movie.
else is in the film.
well, he was
I
in
mean,
most of it, though.
The
He
guy
was
with the
good in it.
bandana, the Nepo baby. What was the point of that?
Ali.
His,
Who did
talking
this
about
for-
Ali?
Yeah.
was that his name?
Yeah, he's just a relative of the producer. And everybody in India
And he
hates
has
the guy.
movie star good looks. That's what he
Yeah.
was blessed with.
They're the ones who told me he was a relative.
How did this
That's-
do? Was this a hit?
Oh, gigantic.
huge.
All three
Yeah.
are huge.
Get the hell out!
and this
of
was
here.
the biggest one because of him. Because he
Well,
was
let me say, I will say, when I was watching this film, it was a little while before I realized how stupid it was. But, I really like the opening, the tap dancing. But I will say, I'm watching it and I'm like, why is Aamir Khan in this movie? He doesn't have the gravitas, the kind of evil gravitas to play the villain.
But remember,
You know,
he's the
but once brother
anti-hero in
came
this.
I'm like,
He's
oh, because he plays this up. You know, once he has the, they use the R word to describe the brother.
yeah, he was slow. But
You know,
Amir Khan's
I won't
character was
use-
the hero of this film. He was the
yeah,
anti-hero.
he wasn't
and, but
inherently
you know, it's like
evil.
now I know why Aamir Khan is in this movie.
Why?
Tell us
Well,
after you unfreeze.
You know, they don't kill anybody at any point.
They what?
Tell you what, there were things I liked, like the first time he robs the bank, and there's the homeless guy asking for money, and like $100 bill floats down to do it.
You know,
And
it's
all this
funny,
money
we're
comes
talking
down,
about-
and he's
we're
running
talking-
down the side of the building.
Yeah, we're talking about scenes like that are copies of other films. That same scene happens in The Punisher with James with
Thomas Jane.
Thomas
Jane.
Jane. Does the same thing, robs him
Oh,
and
I
throws all the
I
money
didn't
out.
realize that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's
I
the
thought it
thing
was
about
more
these
like
films.
Inception when he's running down the side of the building, where like reality isn't quite real.
Well, that's Mission Impossible too, or something. One of those. I saw something recently. I mean, these films are homages to all kinds of films. Even
And
their
I'll
own-
tell you what, I've never seen a film where people have been missed by motorcycle wheels so many times. Everybody's leaning back in the motorcycle wheels. The
Like
vehicle
that
wheels
kind
are
of-
like
they did that too many times.
1 inch away from them and all.
Well,
That's-
again, the Doom movies are known for the motorcycle chases. Because to Chris's point, originally when the guy who wrote these and directed them wanted to be like Fast and Furious, but he loves motorcycles, so he replaced the cars with motorcycles. And they didn't do the Transformer stuff in the first two like they did in this one. So that caught me off guard.
Yeah, because as a motorcycle guy myself, when he comes out on that KR 1300, that BMW just with no fairings, it's just all stripped down. It looks so cool. But then he jumps up onto it, and the handlebars come in about 6 inches, and I was like, that seems like a really special modification for a very, very specific situation.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like
When you
Inspector
search
Gadget.
between the two cars.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he goes
Yeah.
between the two cars. and
Well,
he's
what
like,
about the boat thing that comes on the bottom of that?
that? At least kind of like if that were
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
if that were engineeringly possible, that at least makes sense that you'd have a motorcycle that could turn into like a jet ski. But the one where the it just comes in, I'm like, okay, so he's gonna make this huge modification just in case he has to get about 8 more inches of like side clearance. I don't know.
And
but I
Jai did most of his own riding too, with the other
Cool.
two used stuntmen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because there was some really great motorcycle stuff, which is and yeah, that stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of over the
It's a
top.
silly movie. I like to not-
John, someone's stirring a martini. That's all. That's what
what
you're
is going
hearing.
on? I'm hearing clinking. It is a silly movie, but that doesn't look, in my opinion, it doesn't make it a bad movie. It's just one of those movies where you shut half your brain off. And look at the movies we've been watching that are so deep, and some of them are dark. And it's nice to just watch one that's kind of stupid that I can still enjoy. Now,
But you have never seen a Fast and Furious, have you?
no, I haven't.
Then, but that's okay. Why wouldn't
No,
you?
but I've seen enough popcorn movies for me to say this is a popcorn movie. That's why Khan wanted to do it.
No,
This
I
isn't his
understand that,
typical
but if
movie.
you're loving this film because it's a popcorn film, yet you haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious.
No, I'm not saying I loved it because it was a popcorn film. I'm saying it is a popcorn film. I didn't mind the silliness of it because of that. That's what
you
I'm
loved
trying to
it
say.
because you love the lead.
No,
which is fine.
Listen, I thought his performance was great in this. And when you compare it to the
Great.
other two, Drew, I mean, his performance was better than and the other villains in the first two. They're not villains in the right word, but the thieves in the first two movies are good, very good. But they don't do a performance like this. And the twin aspect of it is what made it different for me. And it gave them, and that's why the film did much better box office. It was a much bigger thing, and why he wanted to do it. He wanted to do a silly, stupid movie with a lot of action. Something he doesn't normally
definitely
do.
did that.
He did.
Definitely did that.
It's
funny because if I look at my notes, Chris, I wrote as I was watching it, it's a specific kind of stupid, what I think of as bad boys stupid. Because I like a stupid movie. I like a fun movie. I like some, especially the first and the fifth Fast and the Furious movies. The rest of them are mostly just stupid. And all three of these movies were not quite the kind of stupid I was looking for. And this was the most extreme stupid. And it was weird because I'm not offended by this or anything, but Aamir Khan has now in at least 3 movies got this thing where when he does this with his face, he's disabled or something. And it feels like cartoonish.
He does a little tick.
And weird. And I also wrote that he spends a lot of the movie with himself, looking at himself, embracing himself, and staring into his own eyes. So that was
great acting
thing. I mean, he looks amazing, but I don't know. I mean, the other thing that's confusing, like you talk about, there's a hero, there's an anti-hero, and John Abraham is the thief in the first movie, and Hrithik Roshan is the thief in the second movie, and those are gigantic movie stars that are up against basically people who are the sons of gigantic movie people. And I feel like I don't know. I mean, I would have liked all of them better if they were more heist-y, like if there was a plan that made sense. Like I mean, not every heist movie is going to be, I don't know, Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 or something, where just watching the plan is just a delight in and of itself. But it's a lot of stuff that just doesn't add up to anything. And this one I started to get really confused because I'm like, all right, so the father kills himself because the bank won't give him money. Okay. And the sons are angry, so they want revenge. Fine. How are Jai Dixit and Ali in the movie? Are they hired by the bank? Are they brought over by the Chicago cops? Is the bank the victim?
Well, because
our heroes are defending the bank. And
now you're getting real philosophical.
No, it was just weird. I was like, I don't understand who the good guy, bad guy is supposed to be. It's like, well, the most important character in the movie is supposed to be Sahir, who turns out to be Sahir and Samar, because that's the biggest movie star in the movie. But that didn't really make sense story-wise. And I really felt like, of all 3 movies, I liked the music in this one the best. I especially liked the Malang Malang song from the big Indian circus performance.
Big hit, too.
And Katrina Kaif is great. I was doing a little reading about her. It's interesting. She's gorgeous and an amazing dancer. She also grew up in America and Canada. And I guess, I mean, we don't hear it, but I guess Indian audiences for years, they were like, wow, she's beautiful and can dance. Her Hindi accent is awful. Yeah. And apparently she's worked very hard to fix that. And this was one of the early movies where they let her do her own lines.
Did she talk in this show?
Yeah, she talks a little bit, and when she speaks in English, that's her real accent because she's basically American raised. And I thought she was good. And Ralph, you were talking about how you don't like the dance scenes to just appear, which is a staple of these films.
I didn't say that. I didn't know.
But like for no reason they just kind of appear, and I don't love that either. But her audition, aside from where the music was coming from, her audition dance was this big dance number. It made sense. Like, I want to get this part. What is that line? He wants a woman who can dance like she's electric or something like that. And so and then that's what she did. And so that didn't bother me, but it's bad boy stupid. And that's not my favorite kind of stupid. That's not my favorite kind of Michael Bay stupid. And so the hardest part about the movie for me was that it was that kind of movie. And of all the Doom movies, it was the longest. Because the first one's like 2 hours and 10 minutes,
Right.
then 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is like 2 hours and 40 minutes. So
That's
I guess
what I
when they make
couldn't
another one, it'll be 4 hours, and I'm not doing it.
That's
So
what
which
I
one
couldn't
did you like the
believe. It's
best
sort of
out of
like
the three?
when they revealed the twin, I kind of stopped the movie to see how much more it had to go. It's like, wow, it's like half the movie.
Yeah, that did seem early. Were you asking me which one I liked the best? I didn't really like any of them. I didn't hate any of them, but I didn't really like any of them.
That's not what he asked.
And I feel like I understand. I feel like none of them really held my attention. Like I spent a fair amount of the second one trying to see Hrithik Roshan's hand because I didn't realize that he has 2 thumbs on his right hand. And I was like, what's going on with that? I didn't understand. Well, then I read about it. It's like, okay, he's an actor and this is a hand he used to hide. And now he's proud of it. And like, it's just a different thing. And he's this like gorgeous movie star who has this imperfection. So that was kind of interesting. None of that had to do with the movie I was watching. So they all kind of run together. Like the Fast and the Furious movies, I've seen all of them. And I would say, especially 6 through 9, I could not tell you what happened in what movie, and I'm not excited about any of it. And so this was kind of that. I will say this last one was a huge leap forward, which isn't surprising because it's so many years later as well. It was a huge leap forward in production. I mean, this was like, it looked like a big Hollywood movie, big location.
The money was definitely on the screen.
The money was definitely on the screen. But I didn't really like any of them.
And they spent a lot of time with the two of them on screen together because they figured we got this guy. Let's milk this for what all it's worth.
The effect was good.
It was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good.
Good.
I
watched the first episode of the new Dead Ringers show that's with Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
And I admit I thought about this is the second twin thing I'm watching in 2 days or whatever, and they pulled that off too. And I was like, it's interesting because you stop seeing them as a guy acting with himself. Yeah. But what took me out of that was that he spent so much time hugging himself and staring at himself, and it was like, okay,
in the movie
I get it. You're pretty.
His brother, dude. He wasn't hugging.
No,
himself.
It's not. It's to me, it read like a vanity thing.
Well, it's like Nicolas Cage in that
taking care of his brother. He was using his brother, and it was cool.
What film?
The movie where he plays
Unbearable
himself.
Massive Talent.
Yeah.
I would make a recommendation,
he kisses himself in that one.
Even if you didn't like the movie, there's a great documentary on this film in English where they really show you the technology that they use to get the two of them. It's really, really interesting. I really liked it a lot.
What's that one called?
I don't know. I just looked up the making of Doom 3.
It was on YouTube or something?
Oh, it was on YouTube.
Okay.
But I thought from a technical aspect, the twin stuff was incredible. The way they crossed paths, you know what I mean? It looked really, really good. So anyway, Ralph, go ahead. You haven't had your time, so let's really just go.
I think you know how. I mean,
no, I'm not really sure.
I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with the two cops. Like why are they there? Because the Hindi language was on the bank, right? That they brought these experts in. Obviously, the bankers are all caricatures of Chicago bankers. I didn't care about that. I did like seeing Chicago used, although like Sean's saying, they look out over the mountains at one point or something. Their apartment looked out over mountains. I just found it.
By the way, Indian people, Chicago is very flat. It's the Great Plains. The area around it is.
They used the beam.
Like Rumble in the Bronx.
Well, the one thing they got to go Chicago. What it's got is that Superior Lake. That lake is superior.
That's what I've heard.
Hands down.
The best of all of them. That's right, Debbie.
I've never seen so many police cars crashed in Chicago.
I was, what I was thinking?
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. The last time I saw this many cop cars in Chicago getting rolled over like that was Blues Brothers.
Yeah. And there is literally, speaking of that crash up, there is literally actually rewound it because I was like, what just happened? There is literally a sequence where one of the police cars is coming. It doesn't hit anything and it just flips over TCAP. And it just,
when they were leaping the motorcycles, when they had to get up over something, they just hopped. They just hopped. Where'd that elevation come from?
You just
we all want to know that.
I know. Listen, so I couldn't. I liked most of the Fast and the Furious because, like you said, you just shut your brain off and let it rip, let it go. This one, I just can't get over how much goofiness they put in. Like that character with the bandana. Just what's the point? Ali. It's like, come on, it's just too goofy. Although he did save him off the roller coaster. I was hoping the roller coaster was going to take him out, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. And how does Aamir Khan have he can control the roller coaster too? He's got
a transforming motorcycle. He can definitely
Yeah,
make a
he can
roller
do
coaster
anything.
remote.
So I can't get over the goofiness level of it. Then you add all the dance number at the beginning. It's all a vanity piece. It's all to show that he can dance and he can act.
Well, some of the humor being so dorky is definitely a cultural thing. I mean,
it must be
more screwball, like the whistles and the goofy expressions,
like
and stuff. That's definitely
1920s.
more. Yeah, I mean that sort of thing is just there's more of that in Indian movies in general. I think the same way that like this is 3 buddy cop movies,
right,
that aren't as good as any buddy cop movies that we've made in this country. But we haven't made a buddy cop movie in this country in a long time.
Yeah, but do you think they go to see that guy, Ali?
No, I think they go to see the villain.
I understand, but I mean,
in fact, they
bring him back
about that character.
Wait a minute. Can I just say one thing? Am I the only guy who liked Ali?
Yeah.
In this group, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
He was.
I thought.
Awful.
I tell you what. And first, I'm going to say, although I said it took me, 5 or 10 minutes to realize how stupid the movie was. It's what I used to call a good stupid movie that you go to the movies. Sure. So it's not like I'm hating on this movie because I sat there and enjoyed it. But it is it's stupid. And but I tell you, I liked Ali.
Yeah, what did you like about him? That's what I want to know. What did you like?
I thought they
Too late.
only in the
It didn't
only
help.
in the Indian sequence where they beat up all those and they're on a chase and everything. I thought he and the other guy, what's his name, dipshit?
Guy.
Jai Dixit.
Stop saying that.
That's his name.
Stop.
Bachchan.
I thought those two had some fun chemistry in that scene.
Yeah.
But other than that, once they come to the United States, it's like they're just barely in the movie.
Yeah, there's not much of them, which was a big change from the last 2 for sure.
Well, when you got Aamir Khan, who would you rather see? Who would you rather see?
That's how they made it, Ralph. You're absolutely
I mean,
right.
that's the whole point.
100%.
And now you have him in there, two Aamir Khans.
2 Aamir Khans.
I mean, he must have just been
of one or maybe
he
two.
probably put in his contract. He probably had to get paid twice, given the contract you guys were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, they should have
so
said
look,
maybe we have a fight between the twins and Aamir. Who would win? Because can you defeat yourself? Is that contractually allowed?
I mean,
But they
he
never
is the
went
draw.
that
There's
way.
no question. Without
There's
him,
a problem there, Drew.
There's no reason to do this film without him. Unless you had a real and like Drew was saying, we don't even see the bank heist.
Yeah,
the beauty of
my
it's not that
single
kind of
complaint about the film, other than Ali, was that you only see after the bank's been robbed. You never see what went into robbing the bank. That was my biggest complaint about it. It's like, well, why didn't they just at least show it one time?
It's a heist movie without the heist.
Well, that's what I mean.
The
That was
reason
kinda
that I
silly.
noticed that so much was because I had just watched Doom and Doom 2. And Doom 2 is about a guy who wants to steal like the most valuable things.
Right.
Like I want to steal that sword, I want to steal that painting, that kind of stuff. And there are a number of sequences of like him planning it and then doing it. There's a ridiculous scene where he's part of a Greek statue, a frieze, and he's got a little like remote control thing that's driving along the floor and to steal a diamond. It's dumb. Don't get me wrong, it's dumb, but this is the caper. This is what the guy is doing, and you don't really get any of that, which is weird, especially because this Aamir character is a magician. Like I really thought it was going to be more Now You See Me, which I also I detest those movies. But
that's a dumb fun movie though. I mean,
but it never this movie never delivered. Like how did he do it? He did it because he's a magician. But
again, once the twins were revealed, that's what the whole film was about.
Right.
It was about him doing the acting, so we can see the twitchy right arm and we can see all the beautiful ticks he's going to have and what a great actor he is. And he is. I'm not saying he's not charismatic.
Because you sound a little sarcastic, Rob.
Because
he simple jacked it. It's a lot.
He did simple jack.
He simple jacked it, and that's not a good choice.
He couldn't even tie his shoes. His brother had to tie his shoes. And then I love all the Marvel T-shirts. I mean, he really wants to be in a Marvel film. Because he just all he did was wear as the simple Jack guy. All he did was wear Marvel T-shirts, which tells you the people who wear Marvel T-shirts.
Michelle Yeoh and Tony Leung and other international people can be in there. I'm sure they can get Aamir Khan in there.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
The guys from RRR
those guys should definitely be in there.
Yeah,
I don't know, John. If they put Aamir Khan in a Marvel film, would that make it woke?
Ooh,
it depends on the film, doesn't it?
No.
Yes.
What if they were to put
Yes,
in
it
with
does.
4 other Indian actors?
I don't know how
in
many
Ghostbusters?
Indian superheroes Marvel
Maybe.
created.
Well, they
Hey,
have
Drew.
Miss Marvel, so
Drew,
What?
to your point,
Yeah,
with
but a
the-
lot of
Ms.
people had a
Marvel.
problem with that.
with
Gee,
your
because it
point
sucked.
with the female lead, when you said that one of the complaint they had about her was her Hindi was not perfected, and that threw me off too, because I said her accent was just terribly
yeah, you were
off.
totally. I believe it. You were totally distracted by her Hindi accent. I 100% believe
Like,
it. Yeah.
I picked up on that right away.
Well,
But I
if you
did
watch
enjoy
enough, if you
seeing
watch
it set
enough
in America.
movies, if you watch enough movies from the Bollywood film industry, you just learn Hindi the same way that cop has Indian friends, so she learned Hindi, or the woman who helped them play polo in Lagan learned Hindi in like 20 minutes while she was walking across.
It's a
from
very
the
easy
palace
language
to
to
them.
learn,
It's
apparently,
apparently
huh?
very simple. Yeah.
Nay. Sir.
I don't know.
Sir.
I don't know. I am gonna.
I learned Malayalam.
I'm a Zuby don't on this one.
Well,
I
you don't
just-
say that.
You gotta
till
say Zuby
put the
Doo.
thing that's annoying everybody.
I know. Here. It's
What do you
Oh,
say,
yeah.
Sean?
They said it's the least
Zuby
desi
do
thing. I was like,
or
ouch.
Zuby don't. We're gonna do it twice. No. Yeah, I just can't recommend this film highly enough. I cannot recommend this film.
I see.
Oh,
I
you
didn't.
are-
I
Well,
didn't
you
hate it.
twisted
I just
that
don't.
around it.
I
I
just
didn't
don't think
hate it.
It's dumb fun enough.
Listen,
in the right
okay,
way.
let me rephrase
me.
that. The twin stuff is cool to see him do that, and you got Aamir Khan doing the twin stuff. He's great. Like I said, he's charismatic. It's fun to watch him. But the storyline, is that, and the guy who played the father, have we seen him in other stuff? He looked very familiar.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I don't know.
The guy playing the
I don't
dad.
remember.
No, I'd
did
like
look
to make a
familiar.
statement to Aamir Khan. So, Aamir, we were thinking, Sean and I, and we were going to bring John in it too, because he's
Oh,
very,
boy.
and the rest of you guys here on the podcast. It would be so fun to write a comedy for you, Aamir, Coming to America.
Well, go over there and narrate it to him.
Oh, I could
And,
pitch it
uh,
right
Oh,
now.
yeah,
See
you have
if
to
he'll-
narrate it to
See
him.
if he'll buy
I'll
it.
pitch the story. It'll be
Yeah.
about he's a prince in India.
No, we haven't even talked about the
and he
the
wants to
boy
find the
twin,
bride in the United States.
the boy twin playing himself too. That was amazing. Those
was
guys
playing-
look like real twins.
You
the two little
came
boys.
close. You came close to something really funny.
Were those real? Were
That
they
he was
real
playing
twins?
himself. Not.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let me say two things. First of all, especially having watched all the Doom movies, I commend Aamir Khan. I think the first time you see him in this movie on a motorcycle, he is actually wearing a helmet. And there is not enough of wearing a helmet on a motorcycle
yeah.
in all three of these movies. The only reason that the villains wear helmets on the motorcycles in a few scenes in the first movie is because they're trying to hide their identity, not for
Right.
safety, because the rest of the movie they don't wear helmets. And also, I've got to be honest, I was already watching the movie and not really digging it. I don't think it earned that ending at all, where they fall to their death looking lovingly at
We
each
never
other.
saw them hit the ground.
Right.
I'm
So,
just
like,
saying.
am I supposed to think that that's a trick? Like, I was like, what am I even looking at? This
It
is
depends
so
on
weird.
Doom 4.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, John has the trailer for that one, so
Well,
he can let us know.
you have to realize it goes deeper with the culture because they believe in reincarnation. So it's not.
That could
so
be a
bad.
setup for the
I
sequel,
think-
sure.
I think that's easy.
And their
on
father
your
killed
mind.
himself. So
Yeah, that's
It's been 10 years. I think
hereditary.
they've given up on Doom.
Well, you say that, but there's a lot of years between these movies, and some of these Indian movies, the sequels, there's actually quite a long time. Because
What
when
does
was
Doom
Doom
mean?
3? When was Doom? Like 10 years earlier or more?
I should
mean,
know that, and I don't know it.
That's
Doom
a
does
big
mean
stretch, which apparently is not unusual in that business. So,
And again, these movies were massive.
huge hits, yeah,
Massive.
huge hits.
well, I hope
Critics
they
did
don't
not
wait
care
too
for
long.
them.
I don't
No.
want to see Ollie lose his looks.
Ali.
You like
Time
him
he looks
because
at a woman,
he wears a
fantasizes
bandana.
about.
all
I was
the
going to
whole-
say,
the whole
you both
film.
have
Over and
schmatas on
over.
your head, so you're a big
Schmatas.
fan.
Is that what that is? Oh, he's
Kind of
just,
schmuck.
I guess with his whole daydream about every woman he
That's what I
sees,
mean.
and, it's-
I saw an
Anyway.
interview with
No
him
guy
talking
would ever
about
do
Yash,
that.
the
No.
producer, and he's nothing like the character that he plays. Like when I saw him interviewed, I couldn't believe it was the same guy. And I'm
So
going,
he's
"Did
the good
Jerry
actor
Lewis
then."
act.
Are you talking about Uday?
Uday, yeah, Uday Chopra.
Okay.
Uday Saddam.
What?
No, Uday Hussein
Thanks.
is dead.
Yes.
Different Uday.
Anyway,
all right. So
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
Do or Zuby don't.
go
What do you
ahead. Yeah,
say?
you guys. I think we know. Go ahead, Sean and Debbie. You guys are.
Definitely good. You loved it, Sean. Come on, stop.
Yeah, of course, I give it a Zuby.
Yeah, you of course. I mean,
for me,
say, Chris?
it's definitely a Zuby don't. It was silly. It was too silly. But also, I'm going to throw this out here. You chop a solid, say, 45 minutes out of that, the silliness becomes less laborious.
That's fair.
I feel like this movie
not better, but it's
at
less
a 2 hour at a 2 hour, it would have clipped along a little bit
much
better.
tighter.
Like,
well, I couldn't get out of my head how many of these magic films we've watched in the last 3 weeks. Like, the Prestige and the other one we watched, and they're doing all the same tricks, right? The Illusionist. And then this one starts with the box thing. I'm like, oh my God. And then when it's the twin, I was like, holy cow, they took that right from. But total cheat. I don't care. They didn't show that kid at the beginning, and I think that's
Ralph, you've said on more than one occasion that you think sometimes we're too easy on these films because they're Indian and because we actually have an audience and things like that.
Yeah.
I hope that this made clear that will not always be the case.
I'm worried about this. I think
you have to remember, even the people that I've read and sort of looked at what people have said about this movie, just on posts of reviewers and things like that. Even the ones that like it, they're like, "This is real stupid," but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. No actual critic enjoyed it because it's stupid. But the people seem to think Doom 2 is the best one, and I mean, I don't know. It all just kind of turns into.
Well, my thing is, I love a good heist film. Love a good heist. Even that Now You See Me, that one you said you didn't like. Mm-hmm. I actually like the first one quite a bit. It's all misdirection. It's all fake, but I love movies about that kind of stuff. And I wanted more of that in this. But once, like I said, once the twins are introduced and you realize it's Aamir Khan obviously doing both parts, it's all about that. Even the end, how long did that scene take with the two of them falling and looking at each other and, tears coming down? That's all for him.
It just wrenched my heart.
It is a big high damn. That is a high damn.
To address the issue that we're talking about, pandering to the Indian audience. Yeah. Now, here's the way I feel about movies. If there is a movie that is made, if the money was gathered together and the actors performed it and the cinematographers did their job, the gaffers, the people feeding the people, the logistics, the crew, everybody.
The caterers.
Everybody. And
craft services.
Everybody.
Best boys. We get it. You're saying because people did it, we should love every film?
I'm saying I don't like to be critical of such a process because it's a beautiful thing. It's taken an idea somebody had and worked it through and created.
Yeah,
what a lovely sentiment that is.
Grill.
That is
you were
beautiful.
Very critical of Spitfire Grill.
Yeah, that is a beautiful sentiment.
Given the fact that I
didn't have a
that,
big crew.
Okay, that movie.
Okay.
When I saw it, I was crying. My daughter and I were like, "Oh!"
We watched it too.
Okay, I understand the sentiment, Debbie, but come on, what's the point of us doing this if we
I'm a sucker?
Criticize a little bit.
We'll see if Debbie's attitude changes.
You guys had no problem. You weren't on it, but the counselor, you guys had no problem.
Oh God, now we're.
I wasn't there for that show.
Let's live in the now.
Okay.
All right. Listen, if you guys didn't like 3, you're not going to like the first 2. So
thank you. I wasn't ever going back to the other 2 anyway.
I don't know. I think it's interesting to watch the
Ali's in all 3 of those.
Oh yeah,
it would be if you want to watch them. It would be kind of interesting to watch them in reverse order and see if that's any different.
Which is what I watched 3, 1, 2. That's what.
Yeah, I watched 1, 2, 3. It wasn't positive for me.
Not going to do it. All right, so we're about to spin. I have one little announcement to make. I just found out today that those 2 guys that I'm going to go on the show and talk about cricket with, they're going to explain cricket. We're actually going to play some cricket.
Nice.
They invited me to go play some cricket.
You're
so I'm going to So I'm going to videotape the cricket.
Well, make sure.
When are you going to play?
Don't embarrass us.
Well, that's part. The practice is.
Oh,
can we go and watch you?
Let me see how this works. I don't know. These guys, they're probably pretty
might
good.
Be secret cricket club.
Maybe we're good cricket players. We don't even know
Ralph,
it.
do you want to wear my turban?
No, I'm good, Sean. I'm going to wear a nice British suit or whatever. I'm going to be the colonialist. They'll be the nice good guys. I'll be the bad guy.
White button-down shirt.
We'll see.
No, we could be bowlers.
I think I could bowl pretty well, but we'll see.
I could get a strike.
I think you're going to pull a hammy. That's what I
might pull a hammy, but it'll be fun. All right, so we have 2 left on the wheel. Let me go to the wheel. Guarantee one of these is going to win.
Omkara is the Shakespeare one, right, Sean?
Correct.
Yeah, Omkara.
That's Othello.
I think it's Othello.
All right, here we go. Okay, That's a big name.
Ayapanum Koshiyam.
I believe it's Ayapanum Koshiyam, but I haven't actually heard it out loud yet.
Does anyone know what that's about?
Yes, it's a Malayalam action film.
Interesting.
Action film.
Which is interesting because that would generally imply a larger scale for an industry that we have been seeing as a much smaller scale and smaller budget.
Yeah,
So
those are the.
Will it be
simpler
Doom
films.
action?
Well, I hope not.
I
I
don't.
hope there are motorcycles
I don't know.
that keep missing people
No, they'll be
by a quarter
scooters.
of an inch.
They'll be
I love the
scooters. They won't
dual
be
motorcycle, by the way, when the two of them tied it
Yeah,
together
the
and the
Transformer.
rockets came out because they knew exactly when they needed that to get off that boat.
Yeah, I'm not even sure
amazing.
what advantage that gave them. I'll be honest.
I'm not sure it gave him any advantage.
Yeah, it turned a
Look at
motorcycle
how
into a
it's
car.
Cool. I think
Congratulations.
that was the advantage.
That
It
was
looked really
cool. Yeah, that looked
Yeah.
really cool. The animation on that was amazing.
Yeah. So,
All right, so there we go. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the film for next week. So,
Bachale. Doom Bachale. Doom
Do the
Bachale.
tap dance.
Oh, you know what? I should have said this at the beginning because no one's waiting until the end. But please, we're putting out more content, so please hit the subscribe button, the notification button, and as always, hit the like button because it does make a difference, and we always appreciate all your support.
Namaste.
And I have one thing before
Like
we
button
were,
Komaro.
we'll do the last film, but before we set up another wheel, since it's the show that I produce and edit and do
Here
everything.
we go. This is another
I want
power
to I want
segment.
to I want to hear your takes
It's a
on Runway
violin.
34. I'm going to slap that in the middle before the next 7 or 8. Drew and
Runway
John are coming up.
34.
Drew and
After
John
the
are going to
two-
come up with another 6, but before
After
that
the
I want
two
to
on the
sneak in
wheel. We're
We
going to this one and the next one. Then we're going to do that one.
Runway
Okay.
34.
When are we going to bring back cage fights?
That's on the other show.
Geez, I hope never. I mean, we've given up on that, right?
I think we put cage fights in jail.
I think they're
The 100
forever?
people have been just DMing me over and over that they want that back. And
I
Kelly
would
wasn't
imagine.
one of them. I'm
She's
just telling
not.
you now.
She's still
Everybody
watching though.
hates
You
on the
know,
cage fights.
she's a loyal
Listen.
fan.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. So, but no cage fights for this one. This is all
Yeah, cool.
Indian cage fights.
Hey, all the
Yeah,
guys.
so
on
that's
this
what I'm saying. So we'll
podcast
do
have
the next. We'll
facial
do
hair.
the net. We'll do the one we just did. We'll do the last one. I'm going to sneak in Runway 34, and then you guys, Drew and John, will come up with the next 6 you guys want to put up.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Sounds
Great.
good.
Great. All right,
Oh,
everybody.
wait a minute. What about the list I gave you of like 50 films that we pulled from the thing?
Well, you did
Um,
it for this last
yeah,
wheel. so
I
you
picked
and
the
will
ones
do
we
it for-
wanted, and we'll move on now.
No.
I got that in storage, Sean. Don't worry. We're going to spread it out a
The
little
whole
bit.
wheel was Sean's movies, wasn't it? All the
It never
Yeah,
dies.
but
Sean.
these I didn't pick the 6.
It's all about Sean.
No, he's right. I did pick those 6.
out of his list, though, right?
Right.
Yeah, but it was a list I pulled from the viewers that had about 50 things.
That's right.
About
And we put
30
6,
things.
and we're going to do another
We-
6. We may go
we've-
back to that.
We've decided not to put 50 on the wheel. So, Sean, I hope your schmata isn't.
And
I thought we were
going
gonna
to
keep
He
going
runs it.
back
He
and
started
keep
it.
adding to
He
the
should be able to
master
do what he
list.
wants, unless Chris wants to do something else, and then we'll do that.
Sean, we will go back to those, I promise, someday.
Okay.
As long as
promised.
Because I
going.
promised people we going to put some of those on the
Well,
wheel.
that's on you, man.
We put
can't win with the
Yeah,
what we
it's-
put.
it's
We
There's too
whirlwind.
many.
can't win.
This
You know,
maelstrom.
I'm being overwhelmed by the amount of Indian cinema I'm not going to be able to see.
Right.
I mean, it's just overwhelming. And my Netflix queue is just filled
I
with
know.
Indian films now, Indian documentaries, Indian,
Right.
which is great.
Oh,
but-
I was watching Indian, what's it, Mumbai Mafia or whatever, about how they sent out people just to shoot gangsters
Oh.
and counter police.
Oh,
We'll get
okay.
to that
Well,
later.
That sounds
I'm
like a
about to
feel-good
watch
movie.
Indian Matchmaker, which is on
That's
Netflix.
not good.
Oh yeah,
It's not good. I just
No.
want to.
Yeah, I
I
watched
kind of
it.
want to watch a couple just to see what that's
I
all
didn't
about.
like it.
Because I'm fascinated in these films where we see people who are getting married as quick as they do in the way, like the last one we did with the family, the 4 people, and how they picked their
Kumbalangi
wives.
Nights.
Yeah, yeah. That's just
Well, I
fascinating.
hear it. They had such a success with Love Is Blind, and they're calling this one Love Is Bindi. Get it, Bindi?
Is that? There you go. I mean, I don't really think it deserved that, but I did it.
I
anyway.
just
They-
don't.
That's
they-
very
that
kind
couldn't
of
have
you.
helped.
I think that thing might be
Chris,
too tight on your
that's
head.
not
That's what
appropriate.
I'm
Don't you have
wondering.
something to say?
Cutting off the circulation.
I think it
maybe.
might be. Something's going
Looks
on.
like a
All
sock.
right, I have to do this every time now. Enough. We're done. Everybody have a good
Nobody's
week.
watching at this point.
See ya.
That's true.
Doesn't matter.
That's true. This is
See you
our
next
time.
time.
This is our time.
Yeah, this is our
This
time.
is our time just to hang out. And we're hoping, what can I say? It's not something too much to say. We're hoping to bring some of our frequent viewers on the show.
We're
Talk
working
about
on
some of their favorite movies.
We're working
That'd
on
be
it.
awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out
for some
the
very special episodes.
scheduling of that. Yeah. So, is that it? Now we can
All
go.
right, see
Yeah,
you.
we can go now.
Okay.
All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks, Ralph. Everyone have a great week, everybody.
Yep.